Welcome back to the Dinar Chronicle, the channel where we keep you informed, empowered, and prepared for the global currency shift we all know is coming. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell, because this channel is your #1 source for real-time updates, breaking news, and critical insights on global currency movements, the Dinar Revaluation, the Vietnamese Dong situation, and the overall reset of the world's monetary system. We bring you the facts, the leaks, and the insider information you need to stay ahead of the curve. Whether you've been holding the Vietnamese Dong for years or you're just starting to learn about the VNDRV, you've come to the right place. Now, let's get right into today's video, which focuses on a question we've been getting almost daily: which major US banks are currently exchanging Vietnamese Dong, and what is the latest news regarding a potential revaluation of the Dong, or what many call the VNDRV. The Vietnamese Dong, or VND, has been a key player in the foreign currency investment space for well over a decade. Like the Iraqi dinar, the VND is classified as an exotic currency, meaning it trades in low volumes and typically has high volatility. But for many investors and currency watchers, the Vietnamese Dong represents more than just a speculative investment. It represents a belief in the future of Vietnam's rapidly growing economy and its role in the emerging New World financial order. To fully understand where we are today, we have to look at how we got here. Vietnam has spent the past 2 decades transforming its economy. From a war-torn, isolated nation, it has become one of Southeast Asia's most promising and stable economies. With a young population, a booming manufacturing sector, and strong trade relationships with both the East and West, Vietnam is on track to become a regional economic powerhouse. And yet, the value of its currency has remained artificially suppressed for years. That disparity between a rising economic profile and a weak currency has fueled speculation that one day Vietnam will be forced to revalue the Dong to reflect its real economic power. So what's happening right now in 2025? Are the major US banks beginning to exchange the Vietnamese Dong at a higher revalued rate? The short answer is no official revaluation has occurred as of today, and no major US bank is publicly offering an exchange of VND at any enhanced rate. However, there are significant signs of preparation behind the scenes. Just like with the Iraqi dinar, several large U.S. banking institutions are beginning to quietly gear up for a potential revaluation event involving the Vietnamese Dong. These signs include internal memos, system upgrades, staff training, and discreet conversations with high-net-worth clients who already hold Dong in large quantities. The top 5 banks that consistently show up in these reports are Wells Fargo, Chase Bank, JP Chase, Bank of America, Citibank, and US Bank. These financial giants are often the ones to watch in the foreign currency space because of their infrastructure, access to global markets, and long-standing connections with international banking systems. Let's explore what we're hearing from the ground about each of these institutions. When it comes to the Vietnamese Dong, Wells Fargo continues to be one of the most mentioned names in the global currency community. For years, dinar and dong holders alike have pointed to Wells Fargo as the bank most likely to play a central role in the exchange process. While Wells Fargo officially stopped handling Dong exchanges in many of its retail locations several years ago, there are now credible reports from within the company suggesting that the foreign currency departments in select regional offices are preparing for a wave of activity. Internal updates to FX systems, staff education on exotic currency protocols, and quiet conversations with wealth management clients have all been taking place in recent months. While Wells Fargo representatives will still deny any involvement, when asked directly, insiders suggest that top-level executives are fully aware of what could soon unfold. Chase Bank, under the umbrella of JP Chase, is also preparing in less obvious ways. Chase has long had a robust foreign exchange platform, and their private banking sector often deals with high-value international transactions. We've received several tips from Chase employees who say they've seen briefings that include information about the Vietnamese Dong and that managers have been instructed to collect data on customers known to have asked about VND exchanges in the past. While this doesn't mean Chase is offering new exchange rates, it does mean the bank is positioning itself to move quickly should an RV be announced. In addition, updates to their foreign currency transaction systems in 2025 include expanded currency codes, including the Vietnamese Dong, with future hold options, suggesting a placeholder for a rate yet to be determined. Bank of America has also entered the conversation in a major way, this bank which has often been more conservative. in its currency dealings has reportedly been reviewing its policies on exotic currency handling. Clients in states like California, Florida, and Texas have reached out to the Dinar Chronicle to say that Bank of America representatives told them that changes are coming in their foreign exchange services. BOA's online systems recently removed a disclaimer that previously labeled the dong as not exchangeable, a small but meaningful change. It appears the bank is watching closely for developments and may be preparing to act swiftly if a global currency reset or revaluation occurs. Then there's Citibank, a global institution with massive reach across Asia and Europe. Citibank's operations in Vietnam itself are significant, and their international division is uniquely positioned to facilitate an exchange process when the time comes. Over the past few months, we've seen Citibank ramping up its investments in digital currency platforms and blockchain infrastructure, which some analysts believe are meant to support rapid, large-volume transactions of currencies like the VND. In conversations with Citibank's Global Wealth Division, several clients have been quietly advised to stay currency ready and to prepare for upcoming conversion events. While nothing is official, the indicators are strong that Citibank is more than ready to play a leading role in any VNDRV scenario. U.S. Bank, while smaller than the giants already mentioned, is another player we're watching closely. U.S. Bank has been known to work with currency brokers and smaller financial institutions on foreign currency issues. Recent changes in their compliance protocols and customer identification procedures suggest they are preparing for high-value transactions involving exotic currencies. Clients with existing relationships have been advised to keep their documentation current and to expect possible new services related to global currency exchange. So while none of these banks are currently offering exchanges of the Vietnamese dong at a new revalued rate, their actions behind the scenes paint a very clear picture. They are getting ready. They're not telling the public yet, but their internal moves suggest they expect something to change, and soon. Whether it's because of direct pressure from the IMF, cooperation with the U.S. Treasury, or international financial trends, these banks are lining up their systems, preparing their staff, and updating their protocols. This brings us to the next logical question. Why hasn't the revaluation happened yet? The truth is, revaluing a national currency, especially one with geopolitical and economic implications like the Vietnamese dong, is a massive undertaking. It requires coordination between multiple international agencies, central banks, and governments. Vietnam's economy, while booming, still operates under a partially controlled financial system. The State Bank of Vietnam has allowed the dong to float within a narrow band, but a full revaluation would require both legal and monetary changes at a national level. Still, many experts argue that Vietnam is nearing the point where its currency must reflect its actual economic value. As inflation stabilizes and foreign investment increases, the pressure is building for Vietnam to align its currency with its global trading position. And if this happens, the U.S. banking system must be ready to support exchanges at the new rate. That's exactly why we're seeing the quiet preparation from these banks. As a holder of the Vietnamese dong, what can you do now? First, make sure your currency is stored securely and that you've kept copies of all your receipts and documentation. Banks will likely require proof of purchase to prevent money laundering and fraud. Next, you should be following credible, well-sourced channels like the Dinar Chronicle to stay on top of new developments. Avoid rumor sites or hype-driven predictions. Our goal is to bring you the truth grounded in evidence and verified reports, not wild speculation. You should also prepare financially. Speak with a tax advisor or financial planner who understands currency exchanges and capital gains. When the RV happens, your profits could be substantial, but so could your tax liability. Planning now can save you time, money, and stress down the line. If you're dealing with large amounts of dong, consider setting up a trust or a holding structure that will protect your assets and make the exchange process more efficient. Thank you for watching today's update on the Dinar Chronicle. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and share it with other currency holders.